Welcome back to the Financial Times. Well, just when you thought it was safe to emerge from your air raid shelter, a third US presidential debate is upon us. The third and final one, thankfully, some people would say, because the first two did more perhaps than any in the history of US presidential debates to discredit the idea of rational Jeffersonian discussion of policy alternatives. And yet we do seem to love them. The first broke all records with 84 million TV viewers. That's not counting all the streaming viewers. And the second debate also broke all records. To help us understand what's at stake in this third debate, taking place in Las Vegas, no less, I spoke to Neera Tanden, a very close friend and advisor to Hillary Clinton, likely to take a senior role in her administration if she wins, and the head of the largest liberal think tank in America, the Center for American Progress. Also, the successor as head of that body to John Podesta, whose recent email dump on WikiLeaks, his hacked email account, included a lot of spicy exchanges involving Neera. So I asked Neera how Hillary Clinton could possibly prepare for the kinds of barbs and personal insults that Donald Trump is undoubtedly storing up for her.
Donald Trump's entire strategy throughout this process of the last particular weeks is to depress turnout, is to make this discussion and debate so negative that people turn off and turn away. He's telegraphed that to as part of his campaign. I think Hillary's goal is to not get baited into a kind of cheap, tawdry discussion and really try and bring it back to the fact that this debate really shouldn't be about Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. It should really be about who's going to be the next president and what plans and ideas that person has to actually solve the country's problems. That is not where Donald Trump wants this conversation to be, and that's exactly where she wants to put it.
In terms of, obviously he's been probably self-immolating, and that's a positive for the Hillary campaign, but it's also blotted out her ability to get across the message of what she wants to do, because the focus has been entirely on Miss Universes and 3 a.m. tweets. How's she going to break through that, do you think?
Actually,
or does she have to?
I think, first of all, a debate is a good opportunity to do that because you're asked questions about what you would do on the economy, what you would do on education, higher ed. So it is an opportunity to kind of bring the conversation back to your message. But, I think it's kind of a well-worn statement in campaigns that if your opposing candidate, your opponent is busy self-destructing, don't get in their way. So, he wants to make every attack on him, actually something thought through by the Hillary campaign. He wants to make all the accusers somehow connected to Hillary's campaign. The most important thing she can do is have him have a debate between the people, the public that's really disgusted by what he's doing, and himself, and not get in the way of that. So I think it's been a smart strategy so far, and I think in the debate you'll see her being the kind of person who could be president and actually talking through what she would do without getting into the kind of sordid back and forth with him.
So her ideal would be to keep calm, as she's done in the previous two debates, have him go off on a tangent on some tawdry issue. Yeah,
I think the big question in this debate is he's had two strategies, both of which failed. His first strategy was, I can't tell you what the first strategy is, but the second strategy was to be, try to rattle her, have a very negative attacks, calling her evil, saying she's got darkness in her heart, or whatever kind of expressions he had. It was just very negative. She didn't get baited by any of those. She kind of tried to stay positive. And I think what you saw in that debate, I think his campaign was really surprised by that. Him being so negative made people think he lost the debate. When you see that, it was a very risky strategy for him. And so how he performs in this debate, where he can continue to be negative, that's what people will expect, but I think he'll again, people will judge that as a very negative performance, and he will not be seen as the winner, which also creates a negative kind of momentum over the last couple of weeks of this campaign.
You mentioned the people supporting him. Do you anticipate that he's going to try and cause some kind of a civil showdown after November the 8th, should he lose?
Who knows? I mean, he's not following any normal rules of engagement for a campaign. He's not campaigning right now like somebody who wants to win. If you want to win, you don't usually tell people the votes are rigged, because that generally depresses your own turnout. So my sense is, really depends on what he wants to do. If he wants to create a media empire, he's going to be as, he's going to sound like Breitbart, and that's what he will do going forward. Now, the good news of that is that's not even, nowhere near a majority of Americans want to be part of that going forward. So, I think there'll be some necessary self-correction. I think a lot of people, 5 years from now, even 10 years from now, will not admit to having voted for Donald Trump.
So whether that turns out to be true or not depends very much on whether Hillary Clinton can maintain the 6 to 8 percentage point poll lead that she's had really since the first debate, which she was widely judged to have won hands down. And it also depends on whether Donald Trump intends to carry forward his plans, reported first in the Financial Times, of setting up his own television network to rival Fox News, in which case, of course, he'll do his best to stoke up that sentiment rather than let it fade away.